Hey, good morning, guys. So my name is Hari, and I'm the instructor for our batch for completing this Fusion HCM functional. So let me introduce myself. So my name is Hari, and I have total 22 years of experience in the industry. So I worked in HR domain as well as in IT. In IT, I played various roles of consultant, functional consultant, as a project leader and project manager. And I've been working as a project manager for the last 5 to 6 years. And on the technology friend, so I have worked on from 1157, 11 EVs onwards. So 1157, 1158, 1159, 1110. And then thereafter, I worked on the EVs applications of version R12.2. And for the last 3 years, I've been working on the Oracle Fusion HCM technologies. So I can guide you guys on whatever the syllabus that Ravi has placed for you guys. So we're going to cover the global HR, global payroll, absence management, and then we have the talent management, goods management, and performance management. So functionally, I'm going to cover everything, and technically, I'm going to touch here and there, but in detail, the technical things, we have a separate instructor for that. So I think that's already there in the syllabus. All right, so I have worked as a corporate, the Oracle EV's instructor and Fusion HCM instructor for Oracle University. So I had traveled to various overseas countries and delivered various programs for the Indian clients too, through Oracle University as an instructor. So I think with my rich experience in the subject, so I'm going to definitely help you guys to understand the various concepts of Fusion HCM, and then take forward your career. Right. So I'd like to have an introduction of each one of you. So can you please introduce yourself so that I will understand what is your background and why are you here for learning the Fusion HCM, and what are your expectations so that I'll be able to meet your expectations. So we'll start with Avinash. Can you please go ahead and introduce yourself? Avinash?
Yes, Hari. Oh, just a second. I think.
Yeah.
Are you able to hear now?
Oh, yes.
Hear me now?
Yeah, yep.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I'm working as a senior application analyst in PeopleSoft senior application analyst in HCM module. And as the Oracle next step is Oracle Cloud, so I just want to know how the Oracle Cloud is. Is different or is same, and just as a knowledge purpose, I'm here to know what exactly the Oracle Fusion is and how it's different with the PeopleSoft everything.
Okay. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. I think.
Yep. Kishore, can you please go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hi, myself is Kishore.
Kishore, can you please be loud?
Sure. First of all, so good morning to everybody. So sorry for being late to attend.
Hi.
So, yeah, hi. Myself, I'm Kishore. I'm being with Wipro. I'm working as an Oracle HCM consultant. And my project got migrated to Fusion HCM so that my main motive is to learn the Fusion HCM technology. So that I'm just contacted to Ravi to know this technology. I just reach you out.
Okay. Yeah, good to hear that. Thanks for your introduction. Pradeep, can you please go ahead with your introduction?
Hi everyone, this is Pradeep. I basically work on PeopleSoft HCM, almost 12 years of experience. And from my Oracle days, I understood that Fusion is going to be the future application. And now we can already see that a lot of clients have started installing Fusion. That is why I would like to get familiar with and seek for a future in Fusion HCM.
Okay, that's great. Yeah, thanks, Pradeep. So next I'll move to Rakesh. Can you please introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure, Ravi. So hi everyone, it's Rakesh here. So yeah, I do also have started my career as an SME for PeopleSoft HCM. So know a little bit of PeopleSoft HCM, but further to it, the motto to join this particular training because the market is heading towards the cloud products, and I think Oracle Cloud among Oracle products, Oracle Cloud is like taking the precedence. So like to know how exactly the Oracle product, this cloud product is working. So that is why I joined this training. Thank you.
All right. Yeah. Thanks for that. Have Samanda.
Hi, this is Santosh. And I'm from an HR background. My interest is to get into the Oracle Fusion HCM functional role. And since some of my friends have migrated into this space and they're pretty successful, I just wanted to replicate that. So that's primarily the motive for me to join this training.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Thank you for your introduction. And we'll move on to Sri Hari. Can you please introduce yourself?
With Sri Hari. I'm a PeopleSoft HCM techno-functional consultant, having around 8 years of experience.
Okay.
And I'm very much interested in learning Oracle Fusion since my client is moving to Oracle Fusion near future. So yeah, I'm interested in learning this technology to work in the Oracle Fusion.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Sri Hari. And Sundar, can you please introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Sundar. Actually, I have 10 years of experience with SCM and as a techno-functional in Oracle EBS. So I'm planning to move towards these Fusion applications. So I think the HCM is the matured one on the market, and slowly the finance and other modules are coming into. So I need to start with HCM, and going forward I can learn other with this the nature of cloud. I can move on to other applications as well. So I am just starting with HCM.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. So move on to Vinay. Yeah. Vinay, can you please introduce yourself?
Hello.
Yeah. Yes. We're able to hear you.
Yeah, hi, this is Vinay. I have overall 10 years of experience in techno-functional consultant EBS. Just I want to learn for the Fusion HC.
Okay. All right. Yep. Thanks, guys. Thanks for your introduction. All right. So coming to the Fusion introduction part. So this is an advanced version of the cloud technologies of Oracle HCM functionalities. So the agenda for the demo is we'll get into the introduction part of Oracle Fusion HCM, and then at a very high level, we will discuss what are all the various features that are there. So the terminology has been changed in Fusion when compared to the Oracle EBS. So we used to certain definitely I'm going to keep touching the names here and there and try to compare with the EBS applications. So we're going to discuss about what are all the different offerings or modules that are there in Fusion HCM, and in each module or each offering, what we have, what are all the different features that we have, and how we deliver those things. We'll also talk about, and what is the enterprise structure, how the enterprise structure is going to be in Fusion application, and then what are all the different employment models, and what are all the different employment processes that we have, and we have any persons, what are all the different person models that we can create in Fusion HCM. And we also talk about the My Portrait, and of course the network at work is out of our syllabus. So coming to the Oracle Fusion applications, so we'll give just a brief idea about how the technology is. So in the Fusion HCM, we do have different implementation models. So one is the in-house model, another one is the cloud-based. So the in-house model is where right now, however, you are installing the applications on your own server. So the client is going to buy the servers and everything, and download the application versions from Oracle website and then install themselves. There you have only the support to whatever the required support that is there. So they'll be getting from Oracle. And the other model is the cloud model. So where the entire infrastructure is purchased and maintained by Oracle itself, and then they just share the login credentials of application with the client, and then client is going to use those credentials and do their implementations. And from time to time, they do the even the HR or payroll users, they're going to use the system by using their provided URLs and credentials, and then use the application as a cloud. They just need to log into the system and then use it. So there is no further maintenance is required in terms of the infrastructure or anything by the client itself. So these are the different models we have. So the cloud-based system is something like most of the clients, they go towards the cloud. Of course, they already started moving towards the cloud environments, and further, many of the clients are also interested in the cloud environment. That is because the cost of the cloud environment when compared to the applications that is being maintained in-house is much more, much cheaper. The cost, like for example, if the client want to buy the infrastructure, the servers, so they need to invest a lot of capital amount and buy the servers and install the applications. So to install the applications and from time to time to take care of the maintenance activity, right, like downloading the patches, applying the patches for any bug fixes, or from time to time they may be doing some hardware maintenance, or are regularly monitoring various table spaces, how the table space is allocated, whether the table space is in healthy condition, or how the processor speed is there any performance issue or something like that with the system. So the DBAs or the database administrators, they keep monitoring these things. So to maintain that, we need many of the resources, database administrator resources from time to time. So who are going to check the health of this. So the client has to recruit them and pay the salaries for them. And in this case, if it is a cloud environment, since Oracle is going to buy the infrastructure for every client, and the database administrators who have been hired by Oracle, so they're going to do all these maintenance activity. They're going to ensure that the application is running, the system is up and running perfectly without having any performance issues, without having any bugs. So if there are any bugs in the application, if there are any issues, so they are going to download those patches, which are, the bug fixes given by Oracle development itself. So they will take the patches from there and then apply to the environment, so that every client's issues are resolved, because that is a single environment where if they apply the patch for one client, it's going to be applied for every client. So that's how the bugs also can be fixed without having much intervention from the client side. So that is one of the advantage, where we don't need to put a lot of maintenance activity and capital investment for the servers, so that this capital investment can be redirected to some other business purpose by each client. So that is the advantage of having the applications in-house as well as in cloud environment. And also coming to the maintenance part, system outages part. So from time to time, Oracle is going to plan well in advance and then inform to all the clients, saying that when they are going to take the system down for maintenance activity or something like that. If it is in-house, if there may be some issues, and frequent outages may distract the users who are the end users of the business, like HR or payroll or benefits users. So they may feel a little bit frustrated with these kind of outages, with some maintenance activities and all. So Oracle, since it's a kind of large scale operations done by Oracle, so they're going to definitely ensure that the system downtime is minimum, and the downtime is going to be agreed between the client and Oracle at the time of signing the agreement, when the client is buying the Fusion HCM cloud applications, right? So that is another advantage of having the cloud system. And we might have seen, like in EB's applications, so whenever we face some issue or we find some bug, so we used to raise an SR service request to the Oracle Corporation, saying that there is some issue, so we're going to look into this. So like this, many of the clients, they respond and raise a service request for that. And Oracle is going to take their own time in resolving that particular issue, because it may be a client issue, or it may be more than one client issue, but still they have their own process of taking it forward to the development team, and development team is going to get back based on their priorities set. So it's going to basically take a little bit of longer time if it is an in-house implementation for the existing environment of Oracle APIs. But coming to the Fusion applications, since the application is only one, the installation of the application is only one for each and every client. So they are going to, if one client reports one particular issue, the Oracle development is going to work on a very high priority, and then apply the patches on the environment, so that the issue is fixed for each client. So that's how the advantages of in-house implementation and the cloud environment is. So the cloud environment is always cheaper than the in-house implementation. It's not only in terms of the cost, but in terms of the efficiency, or in terms of the quality of the application, or in terms of the quality of the downtime. So it's going to be, so let me check if I have any questions. All right. Okay. So coming to the Oracle Fusion HCM. So we have various offerings. So we call these as offerings in Fusion HCM. So earlier we used to call it as a module, different module. So we call it as a different offerings here. So we have the global human resources and workforce lifecycle management. We have the benefits. We have the compensation management. We have the talent review, performance and goals management, and global payroll, and network at work. And we have other KPIs, key performance indicators, dashboards related to the BI. So coming to the global HR, so whatever the information that is required for maintaining an employee or any other types of person records, so we will maintain by global human resource. So whatever the infrastructure related things required for creating an employee, so we'll be using the global HR module. So we use this global HR module or offering to create various infrastructure items for the company, like the company office locations, the company, what are the various departments in the company. So there may be some registered companies that we need to set up, and various jobs that we need to assign to the employee. So we may need to create jobs and positions, and there may be grades for each of the employees. The grading might have been implemented for each client, so we can create the grades. And whatever the other things that are related, like we may create various person records, like the person records can be an employee, or the person record can be an emergency contact for the employee, or the person record can be a contract employee, like we call it as a contingent worker, or a temporary employee. Or you also can create the external persons for whom you want to maintain a person identity, and then you want to store their phone number, email address, or any other details for their address, any other details for contacting them. Like you may have one single point of contact for your statutory organizations, like PF. So we have the PF, professional tax, income tax, and other government departments. So the HR, from time to time, they will be in touch with them. They will have the listening with them in terms of the filing of the returns or withdrawals, whatever, for the sake of employees. So even their records can also be created in the system as an external person. So we'll be handling those things in global HR. And also we have various business processes, HR business processes that we do by using the global HR offering. Like we have the employee hiring, and you can simply say whatever the transactions that we do, or whatever the business processes that we do, from hire to retire, from hiring stage to till the employee either retires or leave the company by resignation or something like that, we'll be able to handle through global HR offering. So the business processes, like the employee job may change, or the employee position may change from time to time. It's like getting promoted or getting demoted, or the employee may get transferred from one department to another department, or one country to another country. So these things also we can change, and from time to time the employee supervisor may change. So these kind of transactions we'll be doing by using the global HR offering. And also the employee termination. Termination means it's like terminating the employee record. So there may be so many reasons for terminating the employee, like resignation, layoff, or retirement, or some disciplinary action taken whereby you terminate the employee. So these kind of terminations you can do by using the global HR. And also whenever the employee is going to come back and rejoin the company after a gap of 1 year or 2 years, so we are going to rehire the same employee into the system. So we can also handle the rehiring things through the global HR offering. So coming to the workforce lifecycle management, so it's almost like it's an extension of the global HR. So whatever the employee lifecycle that we talked about, the transfers, promotions, and all those things, so that's going to cover there. So it's a part of HR, in fact. And coming to the benefits offering, So whatever the benefits, of course, this is out of scope for our syllabus right now for this session. So the benefits, whatever the benefit plans that you offer to the employees from time to time, like there may be a medical plan or medical insurance, or we can call it as a health insurance, or you have a dental, vision, or any other benefit related plans, like you may have a car lease plan. It may be related to the cash benefits, or it may be related to the perks or whatever. So you can actually configure various benefit plans and enroll the employee self or employee spouse, or the children for various plans. And then you can also define various rates per the premium rates for employee. If the employee enrolls, what is the premium rate? Employee plus spouse, what is the rate? Employee, spouse plus children, what is the rate? So you can also actually have a breakups of different rates that you can configure as a premium for enrolling into various benefits. So once these premiums are processed and amount paid to the insurance companies or something like that, that means the employee have opted for those insurance plans, and then they are the beneficiaries in case of any risk or whatever, right? In case of health issues, or in case of any risk, life risk for any of the employees. So those benefits are going to be handled through the benefits offering. And coming to the compensation management, so whatever the compensation management related things are there, like salary, creating the salary, and salary increase process, how you are going to, after completing the performance management. So at the end of the performance management, every employee is going to be allotted a particular performance rating based on their performance evaluation. So we are going to use those performance ratings as input to the compensation management. And based on that, the managers are authorized to allocate the salary increase for each employee working under them. So this is in fact, it's a kind of having a budget, and the budget is going to be allotted to various managers, the top managers. And the top managers, again, they're going to distribute the budget to the managers, whoever is working under them. And again, those managers will distribute the budget amount, whatever the budget they have. So with that amount, they're going to again distribute to the down level managers. So, and so on, it comes top down. And while allocating the salary increase from the bottom level managers to the employees, so they allocate the actual salary increase, they give the increased amount, and then it's going to be rolled up for approvals, like bottom up. And once the final approval is done by the top executive, so the actual salaries are going to be increased. So what are the various processes that we need to run? So it's going to be increased, and it's a kind of automated salary increase, we can say, without having any intervention by the HR specialist. Otherwise, if the compensation management module is not there, the HR have to manually increase the salary, or they should be taking the technical guy's help to upload the file by using the API loader, HCM loader, whatever the tools that they want to use. It's a kind of automation by the technical person. So that we handle in compensation management. So right now we are not covering that offering in the compensation management in our syllabus. And then coming to the talent review. So this is a kind of evaluating the employees' talent from time to time. So when compared to the EBS application and Fusion HCM, so there is a lot many new features have been added here. So there is a lot of difference in terms of the functionalities and in terms of the process in the talent review. So by using the talent review offering, so we can actually configure and define various skills of the employee, not only the skills, educational qualifications, and the various certifications or various honors. So whatever you want to define for employees, we can define them, and we can assign these things to the employee records, and thereby the access is given to the HR specialist, where the HR specialist can update from time to time the employee skill profile, or you can say the skills are nothing but the competencies, like acquiring, have the knowledge of Fusion HCM implementation is an example of competence or skill. So the HR specialist can time to time add or delete or increase the rating of a particular skill by the skill measurement criteria. And also the manager and also the employee, through their employee self-service and manager self-service, from time to time they can update their skill profile. For example, at the time of hiring the employee for any Fusion application implementation consultant or something like that, so they may have global payroll knowledge at rating level 2. So now after joining, so he might have explored something and then got a very good knowledge. So thereby the 2 has to be increased to 1, being 1 is the topmost. So the manager, from time to time, they analyze and then they increase the rating for knowledge of payroll from 2 to 1. So these kind of updates are adding any new skills after the employee joins with the organization. So he might have undergone some kind of training program and then acquired the new skills. So those new skills to be added to the employee record. So these kind of things can be done by either employee or manager or the HR specialist. So we do have access for both of these 3 roles to take care of the talent review. So after adding the talent skills or whatever, so there is another functionality which is offered in the talent review, that is reviewing the employee talent from time to time. So the review period may be quarterly, half yearly, or yearly, depending on the customer requirement or the client requirement. So it's going to be reviewed by various people. And again, it's up to the client business process whether the employee talent can be reviewed by only the manager, or you do have different other participants from other departments. It can be like other project managers, it can be like other departmental managers, whoever, or some other piece from where you can take the feedback of the employee skill profile. So the HR specialist is going to create a talent review meetings, and then they're going to take the feedback. Thereby, the employee talent profile is displayed on the 9-box matrix chart. So the employee talent-related 9-box matrix model is a new trend in the market now. So many of the companies are following that particular technology, particular tool or the functionality that we call. So the employee is going to be placed in terms of in a particular box where it's going to measure the performance versus the potentiality of the employee. So that by seeing the box itself, you can immediately easily make out where the employee is falling and what he exactly needs to further improve, or decide further whether to move the employee from the existing position to the next level position or whatever. So that's a very good development by Oracle, so in Oracle Fusion. So we are also going to discuss the end-to-end configurations and end-to-end process about the talent review offering. And coming to the performance and goal management offering. So from time to time, we can create various goals for the employee and assign to the employees. So the employees also can add the goals. The manager also can add the goals for an employee, or even the HR specialist can also add the goals. So these goals are added to a specific employee or as a goal library. Once the goals are created, so the employees can easily pick up from the goal library and attach to their profile. And they can also set the goal start date when a particular goal to be started and by which date the goal has to be achieved or completed. So the manager can set the goal target date, or employee can set the target date. So depending on the client business process, how they want to handle. So from time to time, at the beginning of the year, the goals can be assigned to the employee, saying that these are all the different goals the employee have to achieve by end of the year, or they may have specific target dates. So based on that, and after that, the goals management is done. So it's going those goals are going to be appearing on the performance management offering. So the employee performance is evaluated based on the goals, and you can actually configure whether you want the talent profiles also can be reviewed in the performance management. So you can actually configure various templates and various performance related documents by using the performance and goal management. So you can also create various rating models that are required for measuring the goals. So on a rating scale of 1 to 3 or a rating scale of 1 to 5. So however you want to, however the client wants to have the ratings, you can also create and assign these ratings to various goals. So during the performance cycle, we have different business processes where we can configure based on the client requirement, like whether do we have the employee self-service evaluation, whereby the employee is going to log in and evaluate themselves, like they rate themselves for each of the goal. So for example, one goal is to implement Oracle Fusion payroll for one of the client. If that is the goal, then did the employee met this particular goal in terms of the target date, how was the quality deliverable? So keeping in terms of all these factors in view, so the employee himself is going to rate himself on a rating scale of 1 to 3 or 1 to 5 as per the client requirement. And then once the employee submits, it's going to be moved to the next level manager. Again, is it required to send this to the next level manager or some other department manager or whatever? So that is a client requirement process. So based on the client requirement, we can configure the approval processes too. And once it is submitted to the next level manager is going to review the employee ratings, whatever the ratings that have been given. And the manager from his side, he can give the ratings and comments, and then they can submit it to the next level manager if it is required, or if the first level manager itself is the final approval for that, then they can actually give the final rating and submit to the employee for accepting it. Because finally the employee have to accept, and the employee should be in agreement with the manager, saying that, okay, whatever the ratings that have been given by manager should be okay for me. Otherwise, there will be a disagreement between the employee and manager, and then case has to be taken to the next level department manager or HR, whatever. Okay, so that can be a different process again. So the employee once acknowledge and say okay with whatever the ratings that have been given by my manager. So again, now it goes to the manager queue, thereby manager approves it and finally submit it, and he will publish it so that the final rating can be seen by the employee, HR, and those ratings can be taken forward to the compensation management offering for salary increase. So that is what we handle in performance and goals management. And coming to the global payroll, so we do have the localized payrolls for a specific country. So we're going to talk much about what is localization and what is non-localization, who has to use global payroll and who has to use localized payroll. So we'll discuss in detail in the payroll session. So the global payroll is something like what we are going to cover here is without having any localization, just a payroll topics. And I'm going to talk in detail if we use the global payroll, what happens, and if we use the localized payroll, what happens. So what are all the different local legislative specific requirements that are going to come in the localized payroll. And if we use the global payroll, it's just a kind of payroll. And if you have any localized legislative specific things, that you will have to handle on your own. So that is the payroll part. And in payroll part, so we are going to use this particular offering to create various banks information where the company has the accounts, so that the salary payments can be disbursed through the company bank account. And also we are going to capture the employee bank account details, so that from the company account, how the salaries are going to be disbursed to various employee salary accounts. So we are going to handle that. And also we are going to create various types of payment methods, like the employee may need the salary as a bank transfer, direct transfer, and some employees may need it through check. Some employees may need it through cash payment. So depending on the requirement and depending on the acceptance of the finance team of a particular client, so we may need to define various payment methods. So we'll be taking care of by using the global payroll. And also using the global payroll, whatever the salary components that are there, so from hereafter we call it as elements. So the salary components like the basic salary, HRA, convenience allowance or transportation allowance, or various types of earnings for the employee, or various types of deductions also for the employee. The deductions can be professional tax, or PF contribution, or ESI contribution, or you may have, if you take any other countries, you may have 401k contribution if you take US. And if you take Middle East, Dubai, UAE, or whatever, if you take social insurance contributions or social security contribution, something like that, they may have the specific localized country related things. So those we can, those earnings and deductions from the employee records, or you may have income tax. So these can be configured, and whatever the calculation rules that are there, the fast formulas, so we can write how we are going to calculate each of these components. So for example, if you want to calculate the basic salary, so how the basic salary is going to be calculated based on the total monthly gross salary or annual salary by multiplying the hourly rate with the number of days or number of hours the employee is going to work. So those kind of calculation rules we're going to write with the help of fast formula functionality. So that we will be taking care of in the global payroll itself. And after configuring, we have it's a kind of pre-payroll processes and post-payroll processes. So with the pre-payroll processes, so what are all the different things that we can do for the employee, like creating employee who are eligible for a particular salary component, and which group of employees are going to be eligible. So that's defining the eligibility criteria. And costing information also can be handled through the payroll. So whatever the payroll amounts that you are paying through the payroll, like the salary expenses and all, so that's going to be expense for the company, and how it's going to be costed to various financial accounts. So we will also discuss the costing part, how we set up and how we integrate with the financial general ledger setups and all, so that the costing information is going to be transferred to the general ledger and easily posted to the general ledger by an automation process without having much involvement of the financial people, and without having any manual entries done by the financial people, because there may be thousands of millions of records depending on the volume of employee records for any of the clients. And coming to the post payroll processes, like once we run the payroll process, you may have to run other processes like transferring the complete salary file to the banker, or printing the checks, or displaying the payslips for the employees on the online payslip functionality in the employee self-service. Or you may have other statutory reports submitting to the government offices. So those kind of things also we can handle through the global payroll. So coming to the next one, the network at work. So we're not covering this particular topic, so it's not there in our syllabus. And coming to the dash KPIs and dashboards and other extensibility functionalities, so we'll have this particular feature is going to be covered by the technical instructor. And these are all the different BA inbuilt dashboards. So where you can, we do have certain dashboards which are already available in the employee self-service page or manager self-service or HR specialist page. So by default, it's already available. If the client want any specific things to be taken care or any other designs or layouts that the client want, so they can always go ahead with the modification of the BA dashboards or developing a new dashboards itself by using the dashboards functionality with the help of BA. So these are all about various offerings that we have in Vertical Fusion HCM. So we'll move on to the next slide where we discuss about the cloud models. So I already touched upon these cloud models. So we have IaaS model, PaaS model, and SaaS model kind of thing. So IaaS model is kind of the infrastructure as a service kind of thing. So in this case, we have three groups, like we have the customization layer, we have the application layer, and we have the platform layer, and we have the service provider, Oracle, whoever is involved here. So infrastructure as a service cloud means it's a kind of complete infrastructure is going to be maintained by the client, and only the service is going to be provided by Oracle. And coming to the PaaS model, platform as a service model, so Oracle is going to provide the platform, the infrastructure related things, and the application application is going to be maintained by the client, and whatever the customizations that you need to do, configurations and customizations, again are going to be configured by the client itself. And coming to the SaaS model, which is completely a cloud model, the infrastructure platform means the infrastructure and the application is going to be owned by the Oracle Corporation, and only the configurations. So if at all any configurations or any customizations for the existing business processes are is going to be done by the client itself. So these are the various cloud models, but majority of the clients that they go for a SaaS model kind of thing, where the responsibility or risk is very minimum when compared to the other two models. So these are the various models in the cloud. So I already talked about these Fusion HCM modules or offerings. All right. So we do have, so let me touch upon the security model kind of thing. So where we can say, we do have three different types of servers. So we have Oracle Application Server, and we have the Oracle Identity Management Server, and we have the Authorization Policy Manager Server. So we have three different servers when coming to the cloud environment. By using the Oracle Application Server, so we actually log into the server. The end users are the application implementation consultants, whoever is responsible for the application configuration, like whether it is a global HR or whether it is a payroll, or whether it is the benefits, any of the module which you are implementing. So you would be actually the application implementation consultant actually logging into the application server and doing all those configurations. And coming to the Oracle Identity Management Server, the Oracle Identity Management related things, that is creating the login user and setting the passwords, or adding some roles. The roles are nothing but the various features or various functionalities which can be accessed by the application user, whoever logs in. So they would be creating and assigning those roles. So we used to call this as a responsibility in EBS application, by which a user after logging in can perform certain tasks. So we have various types of roles like job role, duty role, something like that. So we'll discuss in our further sessions in today. And those things, once the access is granted by the Oracle Identity Management Administrator, or the administrator can be a separate person depending on the consulting company, or a senior person in a project. A senior person in a particular project can also take care of the responsibility of setting up of the Oracle Identity Management Server. So once the credentials are created and once the login details are, once the roles are assigned to the particular login user, so Oracle Identity Manager is going to share all those details with the other implementation consultants, and the implementation consultants will actually use those credentials and log into the application server. So we are going to actually log into the application server and then try to do the configurations. So these two servers are there, and in between there is a authorization policy manager server. So this is used for building up of the policies, like based on the security control, or which user is responsible for using accessing one particular role, or which user should not be accessing a particular role. So from time to time, these three servers are going to be interacted with each other in the backend itself. So they're going to, it's going to interact, and we really don't know when we are using the application server that something is communicating with each other. That's a background process that takes care of. Okay. So that is about the different servers communicating each other. And whenever we create an employee record in the application server, so depending on our setups, so we will discuss how do we do the setup for auto creating an employee, auto creating the user record for an employee, and assigning various default roles like employee self-service or manager self-service, or if we have any other related roles that you want to automate whenever you create an employee based on such particular criteria. For example, if you are creating an employee in a HR department, so you can actually do some setups in OIM. If the employee is created in a HR department, the HR specialist role should automatically be attached to the employee. Okay, so that's how we're going to have the Oracle Identity Management and Application Server and authorization policy manager things are going to be communicated each other. Right, so that is one, and we're going to further discuss on the functional setup manager and all in our tomorrow session. So I'll stop it here. So if you guys have any questions, I'll be able to answer you. So what are all the other, I mean, with respect to the functionalities that you are expecting, or with respect to the various business processes, or with respect to the cloud environment. Okay, so you guys can go ahead and ask me questions, so I'll be able to answer.
Yeah, Harry.
Yep.
You told like the compensation management gets an input from the performance and goal management, right? So do we need to implement both of them, or it can be implemented, only one module can be implemented?
Benefits and compensation management, right?
Yeah, the performance and goal management. So whenever the performance is done in that thing, the output of that performance and goal management will flow to the compensation management for the salary hike and all, right?
Yeah.
So does both the module goes hand in hand, or we can implement either of one?
Yeah, it can be either of one. Only if you implement the goals and performance management, so you will have the performance ratings finalized at the end of the business process of performance management. And then those ratings you can manually attach to the employees. I mean, those are all automatically attached there. and then the salary increase process goes manually. So with the spreadsheet loader or whatever, it can be done by offline.
Okay. Thanks.
Yep, no problem. So any other questions by anyone else, guys?
Hello.
Yeah, please go ahead, Kishore.
Yeah, Hari. Okay, sure. This side. Actually, so we have, so coming to 9 components we have under this Fusion HCM, right? So out of which what I understood that is we are going to cover max 4 components, right?
Okay.
Okay, can you little bit elaborate at what exactly going to be covered over this?
You're asking about the features, right?
Yeah. So please go to the previous slide. I just want to understand what are going to be covered over this. No, previous slide.
This one?
No. Yeah, this one.
All right. So in the global HR, so we'll be talking about the employee management.
Yeah, so sorry for interrupting you.
Okay.
So global HR, workforce, benefits, compensation. So 9 components we have here, right?
Right.
So we are going to be cover HR, workforce, payroll, and the talent review.
Yes, these two, global HR and workforce lifecycle management, and talent review, performance and goals management, and global payroll. So only 4 we are not covering. So network at work is a very simple one. It's a kind of where that facilitates the employees to chat each other in Fusion HCM itself. So that's a kind of charting and having the network and giving some kind of kudos to other employees. Like someone has done a fantastic job in a particular project. So the manager or other peers can appreciate them by sending some kudos or whatever. So that's a very simple one. And coming to the dashboards, anyhow, this is going to be covered by the technical instructor. The KPI BA dashboards is going to be covered. So only things that we are not covering is compensation management and benefits majorly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fine.
Hari, I have one more question here. Hello.
Yeah. Please go ahead.
Yeah, the global payroll means is like this payroll can be used for all the countries like US and India and Australia or any other country we can use based on the setups, or how it is like. Because in PeopleSoft we have the North American payroll and the global payroll for Singapore, global payroll for
right.
in different countries we have that extensions. But what about Fusion like?
Right. So I mean, we have 2 types of payrolls here. One is a global payroll, and other one is the localized specific country payroll. So you can say US payroll, UK payroll, Singapore payroll, Australia payroll, something like that. So why we mentioned global payroll is that we don't want to take one particular country and show the end-to-end implementations that are required for that particular country, because there may be so many students joining the session, and each one is expecting a different country. So that's not possible to take all of the countries and cover. So I'm going to talk about a particular global payroll where we're not going to touch upon any legislative specific things of any other country. But sometimes I get into US and sometimes I get into UK. So some points I'll touch here and there, but we're not going to get into the specific things. For example, if you take India, so how the PF is going to be configured, or how the professional tax is going to be configured, or how the income tax is going to be configured. So I may not be able to get into those details, but how the statutory information for the localized countries or non-localized countries can be configured. So I'm going to touch upon that. So when I say global payroll means it's not specific to any particular country. So that's what I mean by the global payroll. So we have the localized payroll for various countries. The localization is available for Australia, UK, US, and India, and we have the Italy, France. So there are so many countries where the localization is available.
Okay, thanks, Hari.
Yeah. Any other questions from anyone else?
Hi, Hari, this is Santosh.
Yeah, Santosh.
Hey, just wondering, what different components would you cover under global HR? Specific requirement?
In global HR?
Yes, please.
So we are going to cover the end-to-end in global HR, like from starting from the creation of the locations or whatever the things that are required for creating an employee record. Like we can configure person types, assignment statuses, adding various list of values like lookups, and then creating the locations, departments, various types of departments that we have. We create enterprise. We'll create the business units, reference data sets. So whatever the things that are required for creating an employee record and to carry out various workforce lifecycle business processes. So we'll be completing everything. So we'll be covering everything. Yeah.
And how long do you think you do this training for the five modules which you have just mentioned? What is the timeline for finishing the training for these 5?
Yeah, the timeline I think Ravi gave as 45 days. So we'll be completing by 45 days.
And how much on a daily basis is the time?
The plan is for 1 hour every day, which is right now planned for 6:30 to 7:30. And 50 minutes, I'm going to take the session.
Okay.
And last 10 minutes, we'll keep it for question hour, so that if any questions or any doubts are there, or if you want anything to be re-explained, something, we will discuss in last 10 minutes, so that we will avoid the interruptions or interventions when the class is going on. So you guys can just note down the questions which you want to ask or in which topic or whatever. So if you get back to me in those 10 minutes, I'm going to cover and answer you guys.
Okay. And one last question, Hari. I mean, do we have to choose all the 5, or how does that work?
That you guys can discuss with me. So I don't have any comment on that.
Okay. Now, what if I choose only 2 modules out of the 5? How does that work out in terms of planning the training?
I mean, some of the modules, I mean, some of the offerings that if you opt, for example, if you want to attend only the talent management and performance and goals management, so that's not really going to help you without attending to the global HR, because the starting functionality which is covered in the global HR is, I mean, to implement the talent review or performance review, you need the global HR knowledge.
Correct. So global HR plus talent management, for example,
yes,
excluding other modules. How does that work out?
It can be global HR, workforce lifecycle management, talent review, and performance and goals management.
Right. So I was looking for global HR and talent management as 2 modules.
Okay. Yeah, that's possible. So you guys, I mean, you can check with Ravi on that.
Okay.
So we are not talking about only these 2 modules for this class, right? So we are going as per the schedule and the modules what you shared.
Yes, you are right. We'll go ahead with the syllabus, whatever the syllabus that Ravi has shared with you guys and the timelines. So we are going ahead with this. If at all, if anyone interested in a particular module or something like that, so they can speak to Ravi and then only they can attend. I'm not sure, because Ravi is going to allow for 1 module or he wanted everyone to attend all modules. I'm not sure about it. So you guys can speak with Ravi and then check the possibilities.
Right. Thank you.
So any other questions from anyone else? Okay, all right, guys. If you don't have any questions, we'll wrap up this session for today. And so you guys are going to receive the material from Ravi. The sequential steps of configurations by each offering, which is a kind of a spreadsheet, and then the recorded sessions. So everything will be shared to you guys by Ravi. So you can talk to him, and then tomorrow we'll catch up at 6:30 then. Okay, thanks guys. Thanks for joining me today. Take care. Bye.
See you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Yep.